right, so we're starting tonight, all right? And I wanted to thank everybody that is online and that's joined us tonight. I mean, we got a nice audience here, and we have a different type of program tonight. For those that did not realize what we're doing, this program is about just MS patients talking with MS patients, all right? There is no doctor. So if you wrote in a question and it had anything to do with a real medical issue, we're not answering it. But tomorrow night, we're going to have Dr. Aaron Boster online, and you could ask him all the questions you want, okay? You just have to get registered for that program. So tonight, we have MS Conversations Now, and this is a series that we've been doing with clinicians. Tonight's program, we decided we're only going to do it as a patient type of event. We have Sarah Hudson-Rand, we have Damian Washington, we have myself, okay? And we have Pam online saying hello to everybody and happy Thanksgiving. We have Stephanie saying hi to everybody. Mary Pettigrew saying hi to everybody. And I want to say hi, thank you back.
What's going on, Mary Pettigrew? I'm sorry, I ain't mean to step on you. Just shout to Mary Pettigrew.
She's on for you, Damian. All right, so what we do, though, is we have a bunch of topics for tonight, all right? We also have a lot of questions that people had written in to speak with us from our perspectives. This program tonight is MS patients' views and perspectives towards specific topics that we have. And supporting tonight's program, as you can see in the background, we have Novartis and Bristol Myers Squibb. All right, and we do want to thank them. So virtually, yay, let's give them a round of applause. Yay, let's go. All right, great. That's fabulous. Now, let's start with Sarah, okay? Let's start with the beginning subjects here. All right, I want to ask Sarah to tell us basically your MS story. You got 60 seconds to give me your MS story, all right? And, you know, like from when you were first diagnosed, what you felt when you were first diagnosed. Let's go with that. What did you feel? And then later on, I'll ask you another question. So you tell us first, and then we'll hit up Damian, okay?
All right. Well, first, I welcome everybody. It's great to be here. Whenever I was first diagnosed, it happened so fast and so severe that I really just felt fatigue and confusion and hunger because of the steroids that I got. I ate a lot of fruit trays and vegetable trays that my husband would bring me from a restaurant. But I was 23, it was 2002. I was driving a 95 manual Geo Prism. The light was red, everything was fine. It turned green. I put the car into gear and I popped the clutch. And I thought, well, that's weird. I'm not really sure what happened. So I put it into neutral, turned the car on, tried to put it into gear, and I popped the clutch again. And at first I thought that there was something wrong with my car. I mean, it was a 95 Geo Prism after all. But then after just a few short moments, I realized that there was nothing wrong with my car. It was the right side of my body had just stopped working. And so, of course, that was really scary, but luckily the diagnosis was really smooth, getting into my family doctor, getting into my neurologist, being guided to the local MS support group that was in the area. And it all just kind of fell into place, I guess, but it took me 6 months to be able to even just feed myself again. So with that extreme of a beginning, I can still feel the sensation of the numbness occasionally, but I haven't had a relapse since that first one. So I am really thankful for that.
Okay, great. Thank you. Great that you got MS, right? No, great. Thank you for that answer. And Damian, Damian, before I let you know this, I want to let you know that Mary responded back to you all your stuff before, and just, oh my God, yeah, great. Okay, keep it going, everybody. Let's go. Next.
In the house, MP in the place to be. Let's go.
Tell me about your MS. Tell me when you were diagnosed. Tell the audience what you got going here.
The short story is that various health conditions like optic neuritis and bad balance and extreme fatigue for this high energy individual led me to go to 3 or 4 different doctors before my wife, the person who has been with me for 20 years, was like, we're going to emergency care and we're not leaving till we know what's wrong with you. And who knew what's wrong with me was multiple sclerosis.
Okay, so what changed and what got you to like where you are right now? Let me start with Damian. What got you to doing all that you're doing?
You know, you just want to feel good, Stuart. I think that's pretty much it. And you know you have to start over from the very beginning. And so if I have to eat differently, if I have to have different habits, if I have to go to bed differently, I'm going to do that. And I think that's exploring modalities like that has piecemeal helped me to find more wellness.
Okay, great. So Sarah, how about you?
Well, like I said, whenever I was diagnosed, I was steered to the local MS association. And from there, they introduced me to an ambassador program. So I was very fortunate to get to be a part of that, in that I got to go to a lot of meetings all across the country. I got to hear from different neurologists, different nurses, but most importantly, different patients. And I think just kind of gathering all of that information and all that experience over the years just made a huge impact on my life. And at times I've been thankful for having MS, just because I would have never met so many of the people who I have, or even learned the experiences that I have.
Okay, so going to just one more step. So Damian, do you have any achievements that you want to tell us about? Anything, any accolades that have come your way from different organizations, what you've been doing? Walking the dog, has the dog given you an award? You know, something like that.
Well, I love being around you guys and working with you and Jen, and that's a huge accomplishment from going from MS. You have MS to making content for folks with MS and helping to shape community for other folks with the disease, and that's huge. I just won the 2020 WeGo Health Award for Best Series YouTube. That's an accolade that came at me, and I'm ridiculously appreciative, and even still not trying to figure out how, but just still like, wow, really? You think I'm the best YouTuber? Oh, okay, cool. Things like that. Working with various pharma companies, those are my accolades.
Okay, thank you. Sarah, do you want to add anything to that?
No,
Okay, next.
no accolades for me here. The dog loves me.
Okay, great. And
That's
the
right.
cats.
That's right. So let me go on to something else. Can you tell me, Sarah, what keeps you motivated each day? What gets you out of bed and gets you moving? And again, we want the patients to hear this, because we don't want, there's a lot of patients out there that are just like, why is it me? Why is all this happening to me? Blah, blah, blah. And the idea of this program is to build everybody up. I mean, show everybody what it is that we can do, why we strive to do the things that we are doing. And remember, everybody, I too have MS. Okay, some of the things, when we get into some of the questions, I may not want just these two to answer it. I may want to answer it as well. So, but we're gonna try to give you and let you all know that everybody's in this the same, not the same way, but we're all trying to do something. All right. So, Sarah, what gets you up and gets you motivated every day?
Well, honestly, it took a while to get to where I'm at now. About a year ago, I was in a severe depressive state. So at that time, the only thing that would get me out of bed is to change the kitty litter. Like, that's the only rule that I had for myself that I need to get out of bed for. So in talking with my doctors, we found some medications that worked, and I think just that desire to want to live life. In March, we were all kind of brought in together, and there was a lot of worry, and my family was sick also, and so there was a lot of struggle there. And so I think the motivation, honestly, that wakes me up in the morning now is just that I'm able to get out of bed, and therefore I'm thankful for it, and I want to appreciate that ability right now.
Great, thank you for that. And Damian, what about you?
No, I'd say the same thing of that Sarah just said, because you can. I was in bad shape, man. My spinal tap didn't heal for weeks. I did not leave my bed for weeks. Excuse me. And just because you can, And as I started to heal and make small strides in various bits of my health and my symptoms, the more energy started to free up. The more I said, yo, I have to do something with this and continue to service this community. So because I can.
So it sounds like you had, well, thank you for your answers, but it sounds like you had a similar problem with your spinal tap as I did. I had a spinal leak that they didn't want to patch. Okay, and to make things worse is that the doctor never gave the order to the hospital that I was to lay flat after they pulled out the fluid. They had me sitting up, okay, and they only had me there for like an hour rather than 3 hours or something like that. And when they went to go get me out of there, I actually fell out of the wheelchair trying to get into the car. And then I got back to the house, and I literally had to crawl from the car to the front door, and where I then couldn't get out of bed for almost 3 weeks because this pounding headache and a bunch of other stuff that was happening at the time. It was just insane. A bedpan had to be brought to me. A urinal had to be brought to me because I could not get up, and the doctor did not want to patch it. So that was something insane that I had to go through back then. Yeah, go ahead, cry about it. Yeah, it was nuts.
I would say, Stuart, one of the few bonuses of being paralyzed on the right side of your body is that because the, I guess, episode was so significant and the MRI was so clear, I didn't have to do a spinal tap.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, they did a spinal tap because at that time it was part of the diagnosis to even determine if you had MS.
Yeah.
Right. And these days they don't really have to do that anymore. So for anybody that's new, that's on here, that never had a spinal tap, be happy because, you know, good things can come of it and really negative shit can happen too. All right. I'm going to just say it like that because I went through that. Okay. All right. So next, let's talk about techniques and skills that help you get through each day. I don't know if you've already said that. Was it all that was said during your motivational talk or what? Do you have any extra things that you want to do that you jump up and down about? I know, Damian, you probably got a lot to say.
No, I'm always going to give the floor to Sarah first because ladies first in this. Come on, I'm a gentleman.
Very good.
All right. So
What do you have?
having 4 cats, a dog, and 2 kids, being, I guess, having a robot vacuum is amazing. Not only does it save me 30 minutes each day in just energy and effort and time, but there's nothing better than walking downstairs and seeing that all of my hardwood floors are spotless. But it's a useful tool in my MS because now all of that energy that I spent sweeping my floors every single day is just magically gone. And so that's been really great. But I just try to keep my eye out on different resources, different tools that I think are going to be helpful. Even the clothing that I wear, whether it's because it's wintertime or because it's summertime, I'm always adapting to my situations.
Cool. Damian, what do you want to add to that?
It's the adaptive part is I think one of the most compelling points to make here because my MS is not yours, Stuart. It's not yours, Sarah. And what might work for me might not work for you, and vice versa. This is again when I got diagnosed and I had that bad spinal tap experience. That's what got me vlogging, and those are the things that got me like I need to do something different just because I can, no matter how hard it is. And so that was really switching my diet, like no gluten, no sugar, no dairy, done. It's hard at first, but like once you sort of made the switch, it really doesn't, it's not that much of a thing. Yeah, I have a Roomba. Yeah, like wherever things can be automated, I definitely make sure that that's something that's accessible to me. It's all really personal, you never know what you're going to need until you figure out, oh, I need this, and then you go and you do it.
That's right. Thank you. So to remind everybody, this is only 3 MS patients. Damian, Sarah, myself. We don't have any doctors, no nurse practitioners on here. If you had asked questions or you continue to ask questions that are medically related, we cannot answer that, but I do have Aaron Boster that will be on with us tomorrow night. You could ask questions to Aaron Boster at that time. There are some things, though, that may have been asked medically that we did turn around to make it, that we can answer that. One of the things is, and somebody just asked this, Stephanie asked this, should I take the vaccine? I don't know about Damian and I don't know about Sarah, but I've spoken with enough doctors to realize that I'm going to do the vaccine. As soon as it's my turn, as soon as they allow me to be able to get the vaccine, I'm going to do the vaccine. I'm going to do it because from the beginning of COVID, I was saying when a vaccine does come available, that I'm afraid they're going to start putting labels on people. That if you don't have your vaccine, you're not going to be able to do this, you're not going to be able to do that. And I really think that that is happening. So much so that even today, they're talking about international flights in 2021 are going to start resuming as the vaccine becomes available, but there's a good chance that you're not going to be able to fly unless you got your card that says, I got COVID-19 vaccine, okay? And I think that that's going to happen. I think, it's my personal opinion, that I just think it's going to happen in a lot of places, and a lot of people are not going to want you in their establishments unless you got a vaccine. And Damian, Sarah, I don't know if you want to weigh in on that, but go for it. Sarah.
I will take it. We've said the whole time that, not political or anything like that, but we trust the vaccine if it comes out, if it's been, already, I don't know. If the research is there and the information is there, then I want to be able to be as healthy and as safe as I possibly can. And I want to be able to see my dad again. And so I'm hoping that whenever a vaccine does come and he's vaccinated and I'm vaccinated, then I can spend quality time with him again without worrying of passing it on to him. And as far as having multiple sclerosis with, I'm not a doctor and I'm not going to try to regurgitate anything that I've learned, but I've learned enough to know that I'm comfortable with taking it.
Okay. And Damian?
I think that's a game time decision for me personally. I on one hand, I'm like, you're gonna need some more months and years in science to go on for me to be able to begin to consider this thing. But on the other hand, I want to, like you say, see my parents, see my grandparents. I want to take a trip to France. So it really all depends on how it all comes together as this thing becomes more available.
Right. Okay, well, thank you for that. Now, somebody asked, how has MS impacted your life in a positive way? So, Sarah, can you get us started with that, please?
Well, like I had already mentioned, just the people who I've had an opportunity to meet and the discussions that I've been able to have and the perspective on life. I mean, who's to say if I didn't have MS where I would be today? That's impossible, but I know that my life is really good, and I know that I love the people who I've been able to meet and come across. So that's where I'm at with it.
Okay. And Damian?
Yeah. No, habits and people. That's it. I've changed my habits. I eat differently. I go to bed at certain times. I meditate every day, if not twice a day. There's so many different things that go into helping to keep me feeling my best as often as I can. So that's pretty much kind of it,
Yeah. And, I'm going to have to say something to do with this because, if it weren't for MS, I never would have become what I now call an educator. All right. And, too many people have told me that, that's what we do. MS Views and News educates people. And since I founded MS Views and News, I guess that's what I've become, an educator. So I actually,
I want to say something on that, Stuart. Like, this community is the biggest part. It's the biggest win for me. You, Sarah, talking to people on my vlog, my friends on Instagram. There's an entire set of people that I would have never known if we did not share this disease, and that I'm incredibly grateful for, and really is the best part. And doing the work with you, and working to bring useful video to the community. Oh man, there's nothing like it.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that. And you know, it's become a passion of mine. People ask me, well, what do I do? What do you do, Stuart? And I tell them what I do, and they said, well, when are you going to retire? I said, hopefully never. Hopefully I could live forever, and because I love doing what I'm doing. I love that people actually are learning from the information that we're providing. I love being able to get the two of you up on the screen and getting others up on the screen that, you know, can make a difference in people's lives. And that's very important. And I got to let you know, Damian, that somebody wrote in that they really loved your reaction to when I was talking about my lumbar puncture story. And that was Jane. And I don't want to say last name, so I'm just going to tell you Jane, all right? And she said this. And let's see, we have another person that's, have you ever fell? Have you ever fallen? Guys, do you want to tell them? Do you fall? I mean, what do you do with it when you fall? Do you roll over and just let somebody pick you up off the ground, or do you get up and take care of yourself? What do you do with it?
Well, for now, I'm able to pick myself up. I stumble and tumble and trip and do all of those things all the time. One of the scariest times that I had fallen was my daughter was about 8 months old, and I was walking with her, carrying her, and I had tripped and fell. And, you know, those motherly instincts take over, and you just do everything you can to protect your child. And, you know, so you have those situations that you hope don't happen very often, but whenever they do, you just try to do the best you can. And like I said, I can get up now on my own, but I do fall quite often.
Okay. And I know I fall. Okay. And when I fall, it's, you know, it's like, what did I break now? What did I do to my legs? I mean, I wear braces on both ankles and feet. I have very special braces that were made because my ankles have no tendons left in them from just degeneration, age, doing it to myself, and the amount of falls I've taken. So, but I'm here, and I get up, and I have a car, and I drive, all right? And we make it happen, right?
Okay.
I know I had told my neurologist on one visit that my goal for the year was to be able to walk down my steps without using the handrail. And she said, no, that's not a good idea. You have multiple sclerosis. You will use the handrail every single time you go down the steps. And so my goals changed for that year.
Yes, thank you. All right, so another person now is how best to handle the stress of possibility of losing her or his job and insurance if their state shuts down again. You know, I can't answer that. It's tough. It is really, really tough. I mean, this is the biggest problem right now with what's going on. And Damian, Sarah, I hope you can add to that.
I can't. I just know that I would echo Stuart's sentiments. There's not much I have to add on that. That's a tough pill to swallow, just like having MS.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so I have lost my insurance a couple of times in my adult life, and having multiple sclerosis and having 2 children, it is horrifying. But with each situation, there was an outcome. I have insurance now, and so I'm able to get on my medication now. I'm able to kind of plan for the future now. You know, I don't really want to go to the dentist right now, but I know that it's really important. I know that in January, there's a chance that I'm going to lose my insurance. So we have some money set aside in the bank. It's not nearly enough for what we are going to potentially need. Some bridges you just have to cross whenever you get to that path, because if I stay up all night long worrying about it, well, that's not going to help anybody. So I just try to position myself and have good communication with my doctors. I know as far as my multiple sclerosis medication, if I do lose my insurance, the pharmaceutical company will continue to send that to me. And so for that, I'm really thankful, and that relieves so much stress knowing that at least I'm going to be able to get my medication no matter what.
Thank you. So I want to back up to some of the people that are writing in now. They've written in, and I missed what they were saying, going back to like even what we were talking about, the spinal tap. I just want to read what Rod wrote. He said, I was lucky because the neuro from Mayo said, that's not mayonnaise, is it, Rod? Okay, Mayo Clinic, got it.
All right. I was
Stuart
lucky because
Schlossman,
Yeah, I was lucky because the neuro from Mayo said we could do a spinal tap, or we could just wait and see what happens with another event. I agreed, and then we had another one 5 years later, had an event, and then he got back to see an MS specialist. Well, thank you for writing that in, and if you didn't want me to share it, I'm sorry, but I did anyway. And then Wendy is writing, Stuart, I've been following you since around 1992, and I've realized that I have it so I can give others hope. I was added as a blog author to the National MS Society Momentum magazine to share my journey. Way to go, Wendy. That's great. I hope that you can share it. So maybe there's a day that you can take some of your writings and send it to us, and we'll put it in the MS Beacon, all right, which is our newsletter. Okay, so that's a great thing. Thank you for that, Wendy. All right, and then Cindy wrote, but isn't something that we all need to have really serious convo. Cindy, I need you to expand on that and tell me what you were talking about. Because if it's something that we were talking about, whew, I have MS. I already forgot what it was about. All right. Can anybody else say what it was? Nope. Okay, next. All right. Rocio, about the vaccine, I agree with Damian. I'd like to wait after they put it out. Science is amazing, but it takes a bit more time. And you're right about that, Rocio. But, you know, I want to get back to traveling, and I want to know that if the doctors that I know well, the immunologists that I know well, have, you know, pretty much all agreed that this is the thing to do, then it's going to be the thing to do, because I don't want to be shut down the rest of my life of not being able to do something because I don't have that little card that says that I did do it. All right, but you have your choice. That's who you are, right? You got choices.
It's a game
Well,
time
like
decision.
Damian said,
Game time decision.
I feel like by the time it actually gets to me, by the time I'm actually able to take it, I'm hoping
Right.
that there's more information to back it up. So it's really wishful thinking right now, but like Damian said, who's to say what the next several months are going to look like?
That's very true. That's very true. I mean, that's what I was saying, when it becomes my time. All right, when it becomes my time may not be until May or June. And then we should know how many people have been killed from this thing or not. You know, hopefully not. Hopefully everything will go smooth. And but you know, obviously, if people are not responding well to it, then it's obviously not something that we'll have to think about. All right. Going forward again, let's see. We have Rod, strength in numbers, also learning. That's great. Thank you for that, Rod. Jane. Oh my God, thank you, Jane. Jane just right. And Rockstar Stuart. Yeah, I'm going to have to say that. Okay, no problem. Thanks, Jane. All right, next we have, what issue or MS symptom is permanent and has really affected your life negatively, and how do you cope with it physically and or emotionally? So let's change that around a little bit. Sarah, what symptom has greatly most affected you, and how have you dealt with it?
Definitely the fatigue is massive for me. The summertime, I'd say this is the best summer that we've had yet, because the community that we live in has a pool. So this was the first summer where I was able to just go outside every single day and jump into the pool and have that cold. So I'm getting the exercise, but I'm not overheating. I take medication for energy. I'm really cautious because I don't like to take a whole lot of medication, but I do take medicine if I know that I'm going to have a really long day to kind of get me up and get me motivated. And the exercise has helped enormously to be able to boost my energy levels.
Great. Damian.
Yeah, no, repeat that question, because I was just listening to Sarah like, What's the question again?
I don't remember. I forgot. No, I could read it. All right.
See?
So,
That-
You can tell us what symptom has most affected you and how did you rebound back out of it?
Man, there's a ton. This optic neuritis was bad. My knee spasticity continues to ebb and flow. And I know that my diet sort of chills out my spasticity and or my neuritis, so to speak. But it's the MS symptoms. It's like I'm playing whack-a-mole. Like it's like, oh my balance is bad. I took care of that. Oh, my spasticity popped up. Oh, my spasticity popped up. Oh, the balance popped up again. And like, well, fatigue. Let me get that. And fatigue pop up. And so I'm constantly playing whack-a-mole. I mean, I know I have a veneer of like, but I am out here playing whack-a-mole with these symptoms as much as anybody else with the disease.
Yeah, thanks for those responses. So I think that one of my biggest is cognition. I really can't remember much of anything. It's difficult, and so I have notes everywhere. Okay, and that's my life. I live with notes all around me. I stick them, whatever, tape them to my arms. I mean, I have difficulty remembering things, and therefore a lot of things don't get done because I don't remember. I can't keep on track with what it was that I was supposed to stay on track with. All right, so it is something to laugh about because I can't remember what I was supposed to remember, and I can't remember what I forgot. That's the biggest problem, So
One of the rules that I've come up, like I have all these little, I call them rules, but things that I go by. And oh, look, I forgot what I was going to say. No,
Yep.
but with the fatigue, so working 8 hours a day at one job didn't work for me. It didn't work for my lifestyle. It didn't work for my energy level. It didn't work for my family because I can't take care of a household and a family and work 40 hours a week. But what I can do is work two part-time jobs that are completely different from each other. So the one is a morning job, which gives me a reason to wake up, get out of bed, put makeup on my face, fix my hair, brush my teeth. That's the first job. I'm there for 4, maybe 5 hours, and then I can come home, hang out with my kids who are virtual learners right now, do some housework, we have dinner, and then around 7 o'clock at night, I go back to work, a different job, which is mainly just walking. And so one job I get my exercise, the other job I get my socialness, and I get my reason to leave. So for me, having MS has changed my career path. Again, if I didn't have MS, who knows, maybe I would be a rocket scientist. But I do have MS and I'm not a rocket scientist. So what I did do though was find 2 jobs that I can do well, I can have confidence and fun, and it feeds me.
great. Damian, you want to add anything?
I mean, my life has become making content for the multiple sclerosis community, and that's my job. And going
Right.
from folk to folk to say, hey, how can I help you bring together your message and disseminate it to as many people as we can in the most dynamic, engaging way.
Great, thank you. So Jill has a question that many people ask us at our programs when we were doing in-person programs, and that is, are there people that you choose not to disclose your MS? So Sarah, let's start with you on that. Is there anybody out there, any jobs, family, otherwise, friends, people you run into that you just don't want to disclose your MS to?
No, I mean, the first thing I do whenever I meet somebody isn't to say, hi, I'm Sarah and I have MS. But for instance, at work the other day, so sometimes the day job requires us to be outside. Well, I live in Ohio. It is cold. Stuart, you live in Florida and you're cold and you have a jacket on right now. But I live in Ohio. It is cold. It is rainy. And I don't know if it's because of my MS or my age, but I'm starting to feel the cold in my bones. And it's the first time where I have ever said in my life, I I understand why people move to Florida now, because I can feel it set in. So I am scheduled to work 7 hours, which is the longest I've ever worked a shift, and it's on this outdoor activity. So I show up, I've got my overalls, I have my beanie, I have my gloves, I have my face mask. I look like I am going to, go skiing or something. And I can see these teenage kids all snickering and laughing at me. I mean, they weren't, but because I was a little insecure about it, they've got these smirks and they're like, oh, well, you're ready for the cold, aren't you? And at that moment, I want people to know why I behave a certain way or why I'm adapting my surroundings a certain way. So I have no problem telling these teenage kids, yes, I have nerve endings and they work. And I also have multiple sclerosis. And so I want to be able to do my job the exact same as you do. But in order to do that, I'm going to have to dress to where I'm not going to be in pain. And so I'm not embarrassed. I'm not ashamed. I know sometimes I look a little ridiculous on the way I dress, but it's what I need to do. And so I'm very confident whenever I share that information.
Okay, Damian.
It's not something that I do not tell people, but it's not something I tell people specifically. I'm pretty public about having MS. So if you are on my feed, you know I have MS because I'm in your feed talking about MS. But I've certainly been on commercial shoots, and I've been close to needing a break, and I haven't disclosed to the client and the production company that I have MS. So I've sort of, had to finesse, so to speak, when I need to speak up, or like, bro, just hold on another 10 minutes, man. You got it. A break is coming soon. So while on one hand, I'm not disclosing like that. You understand what I'm saying? Like some people are very much like, oh, I can't tell. I can never say or whatever. I'm not going to keep information from someone, but I'm not necessarily going to give them information that perhaps they may or may not need.
Great. So, Sarah, just a person wanted to respond. Her name is Jane, and she says, in 20 years, Sarah, you really won't care what other people think. So, I agree. I actually agree with that.
I can be there. In my 20s, I think I cared a lot more. I'm in my 40s now, and I think there's definitely a level of comfortableness that comes with age and time and just the journey that we go through.
True. All right, Michael's got a question. He wants to know, do all three, I guess that's three of us, follow strict dietary guidelines, and do you see natural what? Oh, and natural supplements a benefit? Sorry, everybody, I don't see the whole, I only have a little box, and until I click on it, it comes out large down below and everything else gets laid out and I could see the whole question. All right, so Sarah, do you follow any strict dietary guidelines?
I don't. I would love to, but I don't have the discipline that Damian does. As you can tell by my cheeks, I love chocolate and I love coffee. I do watch the starches and the fats and stuff, but I don't keep myself on any strict diet. I take all the vitamins that my doctor recommends. And again, if I didn't, I feel really, really good now. And the amount of exercise that I get, who knows how much better I could feel if I did follow a diet, because I do believe in them. I just don't have the discipline.
Okay. Before I let Damian answer, I just got to cut in for a second. I see a lot of new people have come online in the last 20 minutes, and they missed my announcement at the beginning that this is MS Conversations Now. We are supported by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Novartis. And just so you know that this is a patient-only program where It's 3MS patients, Damian, Sarah, and myself, and we're sharing our perspectives on different questions that the audience, that the attendees asked us in advance, as well as a list of topics that we wanted to do and give out to you all. And I'm glad that we have so many people online, and the list just keeps growing. So it's really nice, and I want to thank you all for being here, but I had to say that because, again, we had some new people come in online, all right? Now, Damian, your turn. I don't remember what it was, though.
Well, peace and respect, and thank you for folks for showing up, and like you made the pause for that. Like, you know, you got to give the respect to folk who are tuning in, and folk who have tuned in, and folk who have yet to join us. Absolutely, thank you. No, I'm quite disciplined by nature. I'm an actor. I'm a theater actor as well, so discipline comes along with that territory. And doing things by rote comes with that territory. And that's not to say every theater person is as disciplined as I am. That's certainly not the case. But the rigors of doing things over and over without perhaps seeing a result more immediate is part of something that I'm familiar with. So it is a lot of times symptoms or can take time to move. Like, yeah, you might need to follow this diet for 8 months before you start to see something. And 8 months is a long time, especially if you're not seeing any progress. But yeah, I followed no sugar, no gluten, no sugar, no dairy, step one. I aim for a certain amount of vegetables. I hang out in the Terry Walls department, man, and really, you know, hanging out with what she does. That's where I find wellness. I take, you know, a whole bunch of supplements, like your regular MS supplements, and then also things like bladderwrack and sea moss powder, because it helps move waste throughout the body, so you're not processing how to, you know, break down this waste. No, you're just moving it along, like things like that, and colostrum and like things like that to supplement. That's why they're called supplements, to supplement the vibrancy in the life, so to speak.
Okay, great, thank you. Before I give my answer, I just want to let you know that Wendy responded that she was in a roundtable discussion with Terry Walls recently, a few weeks ago, and that Terry has some exciting info being released about her protocol, you know, with her special diet. So, you know, I'm looking forward to hearing that as well. But as far as I'm concerned and what it is that I do, dietary, strict force, nah, that's not me, all right? I really can't stay with anything long, except that I have been doing probiotics for years, and I have been a pescatarian for, I don't know, 15 years, something like that. And it's a fish-vegetable diet. It's not a religion. And let's see what else. And I do my vitamin D, my vitamin D3, all right? And by the way, since COVID, well, actually, May 1st, I started Nutrisystem. And without all the travel that I did last year, I was on the road 160 nights last year. Yeah, that's a lot of nights, okay? And that means a lot of junk food and a lot of alcohol, all right? And we're not doing that this year. Well, the alcohol I'm still doing. But the junk food, gone, all right? And since May 1st, I'm down 20 pounds. I feel great, okay? I feel great. So the reason, you know, the diet or what you stick to, find something that works for you and get on it. And, you know, as long as your doctor approves with what you're doing and make sure it's not interacting with any medications you might be on, then go for it, all right? It's always a good thing. All right, let's see. Okay, let me go. We got questions on paper, questions here in front of us. So let me go back to what people had already asked. Please speak about the value of peer support for mental health. Hey, that's why we're doing this tonight, okay? That's one of the key reasons. And Sarah, you first.
Well, just that peer support is having somebody to talk to and having somebody to connect with. And, you know, I have my husband and I have my kids here, and they're great and we love each other, obviously. But they don't understand the conversation that I need to have sometimes, like another MS patient can. Just sometimes maybe the frustration or the fatigue, you know, if I've had a really hard day, to be able to connect with another person is just so helpful.
Okay. Damian, your turn.
Oh, community, man. The community is that's the question, right? I just want to make sure I'm answering the right question.
The question was, please speak about the value of peer support for mental health.
Right. Peer support for mental health. Look, it's pretty much everything because you are going through the physical aspects of it by yourself. But like Sarah says, no one can understand what you're going through quite like someone who also has MS, even if they are not sharing the same symptoms. So the idea of someone in your circle, they might not, be exactly in your shoes, but they have their own version of something that you are familiar with. So the camaraderie that comes with that, the feeling seen and heard and understood that comes along with being more plugged into the social networks, so to speak, with MS, and just the value of the community. It's a large, big win. I've used like 3 adjectives that were the same words. That's how huge it is.
Great, thank you.
And Stuart, if I may, for me, because I do battle mental illness issues and depression, anxiety, personality disorder, a lot of times I don't even realize that I'm in the throes of a depressive state until it's pretty deep in. And so sometimes it takes those friends who do know you and to just reach out, especially now since we're in COVID. Before we could go to the MS meetings and we could meet our community, we could meet our people. That's not really happening these days. So I was just talking to my dad the other day about how important it is to reach out to people. And Colin, even for me, as someone who does battle depression, it's more therapeutic for me to call somebody else and reach out to them and see how they're doing. Or I guess not as therapeutic, but it's just as therapeutic for me to make the phone calls instead of waiting for somebody else to make the phone calls. So I think just putting myself in those situations instead of waiting. And like I said, sometimes it's hard. And that's why I personally am very open with my mental health, because there are times where I don't feel good at all, but I don't realize that I'm not feeling well until it's a little too late.
Okay, thank you for that. Rolling along, I'm going to call out some of these shout outs. I mean, people are making comments, good comments about us, and others with questions, and so and others that are just responding to things that have been said, like Stephanie responded that you're also helpful. Talking with others who understand MS is priceless. Thank you very much, Stephanie, for saying that. Yiki, who does a lot of volunteer work for MS Views and News. I can't even say my own company, right? Let Sarah know that her background is super cool. Yeah, well, I thought her background was a shower curtain. No, I'm just kidding. I said that to Sarah earlier too, but all right. Let's see. We have somebody else. So her sound keeps cutting out. Well, I don't know what to say about that. It's probably your internet connection. And then Stephanie again says that. What did Stephanie say? I've just blacked out here. Oh yeah, she said, I really don't care to share with people who aren't in my MS community. I guess that was about when we were talking about who we disclose to or not disclose to. Regina, excuse me. It's not a COVID cough either, it's just talking too much. Regina would like to know what cognitive exercises do we recommend for short-term memory? You want to know something? I don't remember what to tell you.
Hey, Stuart Schlossman, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go.
All right. Any of you two want to make it something really quick? Because I got a lot of things to go through, and we only got 30 more minutes of this, so we've got to roll it on here. We got to answer this quickly.
I will show you this. This is my color-coded Google Calendar. And this is for what you're seeing is 3 days. And so none of this stuff is massively important, right? It's like I'm getting paid today and I'm supposed to take this medicine today. And so things that I know that I'm having a really hard time catching on, and maybe it's not forever. I mean, maybe it's just something that I need to get into the habit of, but I'll put it into my Google Calendar because I check it every night before I go to bed. So I know what I'm doing the next day, and then I follow it during the day. And that's been the most helpful to me, is just keeping that calendar that keeps me on pace.
Great, thank you. Damian.
I'm more of a guy. I'm not sure how to answer this question. That's even why I stammered, because it's finding what's good for you. And someone can recommend something, and then you do it, and you're like, oh, that didn't work, but maybe you didn't do it long enough, or maybe you didn't do the right dosage, or like whatever. There's some element of someone else might know something that might be good for me, that might help me out. Oh, and it's like, well, I mean, you're just gonna have to keep on plugging through the things, and actually run through the tape for weeks and months before you make a proper sound judgment and release the new habits, so to speak. The new habits and things come and go as the symptoms come and go, and that's definitely something to keep in mind. We all have our own different things, but if you're asking that question, it means something in me tells me that there might be something that you might not want to do. You better go ahead and do it, and you better go ahead and do it a whole lot, and then make the judgment call well after you have begun, to see how it affects you. And if it doesn't affect you, that's cool. Next.
Great, thank you. Thank you. Sarah, wait, Jane wants me to tell you, great idea, Sarah, with your card deck. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
Something to add with the cognition too, and this has been many years ago, but whenever I was first diagnosed, in the first 5 years, I had a lot more cognitive problems, and my doctor actually sent me to cognitive rehabilitation. And I don't know if it was through my doctor or through the state of Indiana, but it was a 6-week course where they worked with me and other people with brain injuries and cognitive disabilities, teaching us how to utilize certain tools. So I don't know if anybody has that in their state available. It might be something that they would want to ask their neurologist about, but it was really helpful for me.
Great, thank you. So got a couple of people online that, hey, there's a guy named Bruce I know he's from the West Coast. Hey, Bruce, you haven't shouted out anything. Come on, I need to hear from you. All right, next we have Jill is asking, by the way, Jill does a lot of work for MS Views and News, so I'm glad she's on here tonight. Thank you, Jill. Do you ever wish you didn't have MS? Guys? I mean, is that like a no-brainer? Come on, Jill, where'd you coming up with that one from?
No, not even to shame Jill on that. It's the idea of like, yeah, I would love to not have this disease. Also, the people I've been able to meet because of this disease, the impact that I've been able to make because of it is, I wouldn't trade that. So it's really hard, man. Of course, you would love to not deal with the myriad of symptoms that MS presents, and the myriad of increasingly terrible symptoms that MS presents. But we have not only remained resilient, but have looked to ways to expand what we do, so that the illness might take away certain things from us, and it's gone, cool, but however, it's given me something else. It's given me this community, it's given me this type of work, it's given me this connection with these people that I work toward every day. So yeah, I wouldn't have one without the other. So that's a real tough call for me personally.
That's right. And Sarah, before I let you go, I'm gonna say, yeah, I ditto a lot of what Damian just said, because that's how I even opened up the program. That this for me has been, I met the two of you. All right, I met, like I said, I've mentioned so many names. There's a lot of names on this list that are here tonight with us, and I've met you all in person. I'm not all of you. I've met many of you, and there's just no way I would have met the emotional people that I have learned to have met through doing all this that I did not have in my first world of the type of work that I used to do. And so, yeah, it made me a different person. And I used to tell people all the time, I used to be a speaker for one of the pharmaceutical companies, and I had to end all my talks with me being once known as a very arrogant, abrasive, obnoxious salesman. And these days I'm just known as a very arrogant, abrasive, obnoxious humanitarian. Okay? And that's a line that I just have kept with me. All right? But yes, Jill, thank you for that question. I'm glad that it came up. Sarah, let you answer it as well. Go for it.
I love all of your abrasiveness, Stuart. I just have to say that.
Thank you.
I don't wish that I didn't have this disease because it's part of who I am. I don't really like, certain aspects about everything, but it's what I have been gifted with for whatever reason. One of the things that I never do, I never blame anything on MS. If I'm really, really tired, I know that it's MS fatigue. I don't say, oh, it's my MS that's making me tired. No, I'm tired. If I'm having pain, I don't blame that on the MS. I just blame it on my body hurts today. And so I think my perspective on having the disease, and granted, I've had an amazing journey. I'm really thankful that I haven't had more relapses than what I have had. But at the end of the day, it's part of my life, it's part of my body, and it's part of who I am. And so I don't feel bad about it. And I don't wish I didn't have it.
All right, guys, we have to just try to make 30-second answers here because we've got a lot to go through, all right? The next one is a really long question that I'm going to try to read really quick, but hopefully you'll understand. How do you handle a possible change of career? I'm about to finish medicine and would like to treat patients and study a specialty, but doctors tell me I may have to settle with the administration part. Should I give up that part of my dreams? Why would you give up that part of your dream? And who cares what these other people say? Do it if you want to do it is my answer for you, Stephanie. Go ahead, Sarah.
Okay. So whenever I was diagnosed in 2002, some of the programs that I went to, they had said, don't have children. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. It was just in 2002. And the recommendation was, if you are a woman with multiple sclerosis, you should not have children. That was false. And so I don't believe in anything. There's nothing that we can't do as MS patients. And so I would say if you have your heart set on it and that's your dream, then go for it full force.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
And Damian, really quick, I got another long one.
Absolutely.
First.
Go for it. Go for it,
Okay,
because
great.
there are plenty of doctors with MS. That's it.
That's true. That is very true. Cindy writes, and by the way, Cindy's another volunteer for MS Views. Thank you very much. I hate MS, hate it worse than anything in the world, regardless of anything positive that can come from it. I do, however, appreciate so incredibly much to hear you guys speak on this, and all of this is so helpful. Thank you. Hopefully everybody will learn from it. Thank you, Cindy, for bringing that up. All right, next, Pam. Do either use walking devices or other equipment for their MS every day? I don't. Guys, how about you?
I don't. I use a wheelchair in the summertime if I'm going on a family outing. If we're going to an amusement park or we're going to be out all day, if we're going to a shopping center and it's going to be a big family event, then I'll use the wheelchair, but not on a daily basis.
Great, thank you. Damian, real quick.
No.
Okay, next. All right, Bruce. See, Bruce came back to life. He's here. All right, Bruce, thank you for putting in this two questions. How do you describe MS? What MS is? I don't know if that's something that we really can. I think that's really for one of the clinicians to talk about. And he's also written, I've taken advantage of MS to create new products that help others. I think we'll have to, I guess, address that another time when I could actually hear from you, Bruce, because we're not going to be able to get the answer that quick. And Bruce also wrote, I never thought I would be leading 5 support groups. Well, Bruce, that's awesome. And I thank you for that. And I'm not even in your group, but I'm sure that there are many people out there that thank you for what you're doing. And I thank you for adding that verbiage to what I just read, okay? Now, next we have Rocio again. And she's, okay, that was the question I already read, so I can't do that one again. All right, next, Stephanie, I could have something else, but I'll keep my MS, COVID, cancer, heart issues, arthritis, weight issues. I'll just keep my MS. I manage it. It doesn't manage me. That is correct to say, and everybody should live by those words, because as I tell people, I taught MS to live my life, and it doesn't like it, then get the blank out of here, and that's all I can say about it, okay? All right, next. Jane, Damian does have a great smile, but Sarah's is much better and prettier. Uh-oh. Sounds like you have a person out there that likes you, Sarah.
Yay.
Okay.
Look,
Okay.
I'm turning red.
No problem. All right, let me get back to one of these questions I have on paper. All right, so a person wants to know if there's a directory from MS doctors in the United States. The answer is yes, but that's only available through the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. And in fact, when we had Dr. Coetzee on last week, he spoke about that. So they do have that directory, okay? I just want to make that known really quick. All right, next, MS specialty fitness programs available. Anybody want to answer that? Because I know there's tons of them out there.
Damian?
Well,
Yeah,
we
no,
have
there's oh, go ahead.
tons.
You go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of people. There's people on Instagram. Dr. Gretchen, she's good. The MS Gym. That's like the 2 that are top of mind that you can get on your phone, and they video with you.
Right.
And it's more active and COVID friendly.
Right.
I was in PT for a while. It's really a mixed bag, but they are certainly out here.
Right.
And those 2 are big ones.
And then you also have the MS Fitness Challenge with David Lyons. And in fact, I interviewed David a few weeks ago, and I just published it tonight. So it's on our YouTube channel, and it's also on Facebook. It's already on there tonight. You can hear what he's doing to use exercise, building strength to combat his MS. All right, and as Damian said, the MS Gym is an awesome site. Gretchen Hawley is an awesome speaker as well. And then you have a host of other people out there that may not do all the visual stuff, but if you're in their towns, I mean, there are people, that we had Travis Earhart on. He's in the Dallas area. We've had Jeff Siegel on. He's in South Florida. They all train with people with MS, and you just have to hit up on the right one, okay? You just have to open up your book for that. Yes, Yiki, I already mentioned David Lyons. See, I'm just seeing your note, but yes, I already mentioned him, okay? All right, next, we have person wants to know balance in life. How do you balance accepting needing help with discouraging being helped into helplessness? That's like a story. I think I have to give it to the actor to answer first. How do you balance accepting needing the help without being discouraged? That's the short end of it.
Different times you're discouraged. Sometimes you're discouraged. Sometimes you're not. The actor is himself in the author's given circumstances. So if the author's given circumstances are, I don't really feel too good, and I don't really want to ask for that help. Sometimes I might do it anyway. Sometimes I might not ask for the help. There's a lot in MS when one has to get over themselves, and as strange as that does sound, that relates to the topic of asking for help. And if it's not in your nature to ask for help, well, you have MS. So if you want some help, you might have to change your nature. You understand what I'm saying? And continue to make adjustments so that you can, live your best life.
Great. Sarah, quick.
I would say practice makes perfect. I mean, if asking for help is something that you struggle with, Think about the end goal that you want to achieve. The goal isn't whether you can do this on your own or not. The goal is to do it. And if that means that you need help, then you also are including somebody else in whatever it is that you need help. But I would say practice makes perfect.
Okay, great. So I'm going to go on to the next one, and that is a person would like to know, do you have a hard time when you feel good for a week trying to live in the moment and not worrying about what's going to come after that or when you're going to crumble again? That's a hard one. That's a hard one. So sorry to cut you off there, but you know, I feel like I try to live in the moment all the time, and I don't worry about really what's going to be in 6 months from now, but I want to get through this week first. So I'll deal with it when it happens, if it happens. That's all I can say about that. You guys?
For me, it was more whenever I was younger, it would be go, 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 stop. Go, 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 stop. Well, and you know, I always hear that saying, it's a marathon, not a relay. And so that kind of has sunk into me. So I have slowed my pace a lot more to where I can just kind of go, 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 but it not be overwhelming.
Right.
Say the question one more time, Stuart. Say the question one more time, please. Yeah.
I forgot.
Oh, well, see, exactly.
No.
Okay, so do you have a hard time thinking about what's going to happen in the future? You're feeling great now, and what happens, how are you going to handle? Yeah, go ahead.
Future me is none of my business. Future me, I have a vision for. Future me, I'm working toward things. I'm only concerned with right here and right now. And that's what I get out of my meditation habit. You know, you sit around and you practice sitting around, just hearing your brain do all of its things and just kind of find some calmness in there. You learn to see the thought pattern for what it is. Like, oh, this is an anxious thought pattern. So I can get into it and make all the feelings, but I can also not. So I am practiced in not having those anxious thoughts in that way. And
Right.
I know you can as well, but you got to practice.
Great, thank you. Before I get on to the next questions, I want to let everybody know tomorrow night we have Aaron Boster on MS Neuro TV. And in the past, all of our MS Neuro TVs were pre-video recorded, and you got to listen to whoever was talking for 10 or 15 minutes, and then that person was on to do a live Q&A. Well, all those events were always recorded at our annual MS Symposium. This year's MS Symposium was virtual, so we couldn't record everybody for the full 24 hours prior of who was going to be speaking for the next 12 months. All right, so we are doing our first MS Neuro TV tomorrow, the next version, and it is live, and it will be with Dr. Aaron Boster, and Aaron Boster is going to be online talking with you about the immune system, how the MS works in the body. So Bruce, you were asking a lot of questions today about MS, how it makes it, how it happens, how to describe it to people. I can't answer these things, neither can Damian, neither can Sarah. Come online tomorrow and listen to Dr. Boster. Ask him the questions. I'll be asking your questions to Dr. Boster for tomorrow night. I'll be here doing this all again, okay? All right.
Next.
How I answer the what is MS question, it's like, hey, I do the whole electrical wire metaphor. Like, hey, you know, if you have one of the wires, it's frayed and it don't work so good. Yeah, that wires my whole body, and that's MS.
That's right. That's right. So for
Quick and dirty.
That is very true, and there are definite ways to explain it with the wire cut up or your dog having bit into it, and that same wire now is supposed to be working with the TV, and the TV's all staticky, but your dog just bit it all up. And so the electricity is not getting to the TV right. Well, that's what's going on in our nervous system. So from the brain, it's all chewed up going into the body, and it's not sending the right signals out. All right. And Bruce, you know, you'll hear Damian's words from a pro tomorrow if you want to come online. There are a couple of people asking, how do I register for tomorrow? Well, you've gotten tons of emails about this, guys. It's MS Neuro TV, all right? And if you didn't get the email and you can't find it, then please go to the MS Views and News website. in the center column is all of our events that are happening right now. Click on where it says to register here. And how do you find the MS Views website? You go to www.ms as in Sam, V as in Victor, N as in Nancy.org. Okay? And that's how you find our website. But don't go there right now. Just write that down. www.msvn.org. And you can go there, check it out, and figure out how to register. Okay? All right. So that gets rid of a couple of questions here. We are not done yet. We have another 6 minutes to go. All right. And the website is up on the screen right now. You could take a quick look at it. But if you go up and down that center column there, you could see everything that we're doing right now this week. Bill just went to the top. He's now going to the bottom. Okay, Bill's my video producer, and Bill's been with us for a very, very long time. Yay to Bill! All right. So next.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, thank you, Bill. Exactly. We have a couple of new questions online. I have a few more remaining on paper, and then we're going to say goodnight to everybody. All right. What can us veteran MSers offer to newbie MSers to help soften the potential road ahead? Sarah?
I think just sharing your own perspective and your own journey, your own stories. Again, it's the journey. I guess whenever I come across somebody who's newly diagnosed, instead of telling my story, I'm more listening to their story and feeding off of them and really trying to know what it is that they need out of this communication. Again, like giving is getting in a way. So really getting to know that person is the most helpful thing, I would say.
Great. Damian, 20 seconds.
Giving is getting and getting is given, that's pretty much it. I've lost my train of thought in order to say that, but yeah.
So I'm going to add a little bit something different to it, and that is that when I was diagnosed 22 years ago, there were only 2 medications on the market. We have, I think, 20 now on the market. And, so it's a matter of anybody that's new coming into this is coming into it at a great time. Sorry a minute, 1 second. Everybody's coming in at a great time, all right? They have, not that it's great to have MS, but you're coming in at a time where there's so many medications available that if you listen to the doctor and you pay attention to what you should be doing, you should be coming out of this pretty good, all right? There's a lot less people. I know that there are some of you online right now that you're probably using mobility devices, and there were times when I had to use it as well. Sarah talked about it. But there are far fewer people these days using mobility assistive devices than when I was first diagnosed. When I walked into a support group, I was terrified by being in there, all right? I was the only one not using a mobility device. I did not want to go back to that support group again. All right. These days, you go into a support group meeting, and most of the people are not using mobility devices. All right. So that is this veteran talking to anybody new that comes along. You're in good shape if you get diagnosed now. There's so much out there to help combat it for the illness itself as well as the symptoms. Okay. Anybody want to add to that?
No, ditto. That's what I would have said in my own way. Ditto.
But you didn't say it first, so I got that opportunity.
You beat me out on a few of the other
That's
things.
why I got you on you, Stuart.
I got you on that. Yeah, you did. That's true.
You did ditto me. All right. Let me go back to the board here, all right? Stephanie, I really like this format. Thanks so much for everything, everybody. So engaging. Stephanie, I thank you for your remark, and there are a few other people that said similar, and I'm going to read another one. Lisa writes, thank you, Stuart, for always putting out such great programs for SMSers. Sarah and Damian are good choices for this event. Exactly. That's why they're here. Okay, great. Thank you for that, Lisa. And Wendy writes, thank you so much. Thank you, Wendy. And we have Cynthia. Cynthia, Damian, do you feel there is enough information and resources available for this? A great topic. African Americans with MS, since there are so many more cases than the medical community has anticipated.
Well, the African Americans in MS have a special ride. because the numbers have shown that Black folk can have a greater disease progression and more severity more soon. So that's something that does not really bode well. And it's just like marketing. And yeah, you would like to see different faces in the marketing or different voices in the groups. And that's kind of where I come in. You know, it's like you be the change you wish to be in the world, or something like that. And that's really why I work so fastidiously on presenting information about multiple sclerosis in the most broad manner that I can, because there are a dearth of African American voices and perspectives, and I hope to contribute to that as best as I can.
That's right. And Jill wanted me to mention Mitzi, all right? So Mitzi is a great source to listen to. Mitzi Williams. She's a MS neurologist out of Atlanta, Georgia. She's awesome. She does a tremendous amount of work with the African American community, or also known as the Black community. And so you know, there's a lot of people out there that are doing a lot for the Black American culture. And for those that are, you know, Black Americans with multiple sclerosis, there's a tremendous amount of new research that is now happening for the correct medications for this community, okay? So, because not everything is always tested with, you know, when research is done, even for COVID, you know, they had a hard time getting the research done because they were only getting white people to come for research. But what about everybody else? And so there were a lot of Black community leaders that was saying, hey, we're not going to do this. It was only tested on white people. All right. And that is a big problem. So, you know, going forward, you will see that there's a lot happening for the African American or Black American community. And you'll hear much more about it. In fact, we have a series that I'm not allowed to disclose what it's going to be. So I'm not going to tell you what it's going to be. But we have a series starting on it in very soon. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, and that is something new that MS Views and News will be doing. All right, next, Mike answers. Mike writes, great meeting and thanks all for your time and advice. Michael V, the other one was Mike R, this one is Michael V. Great stuff, great format. Happy Thanksgiving to all. There's plenty something. It's at the bottom of my screen. Plenty to give thanks for. Yes, there is. We are all here breathing, and he didn't say that. I'm saying that now. We're all here breathing, watching this. So it is great that we were able to do this. And then there's just one more question that I didn't get to, and I really need to get to it. When discussing the stigma, is this how non-disabled people view disabilities, or how someone with a disability views themselves? Damian.
I'm not sure I understand.
Sarah.
Yeah, I think I understand. The question is, does the stigma come within ourselves more than other people?
I think how a non-disabled person may look at a person with MS carrying a disability that's maybe known, seen. I mean, what that person thinks. So we, when we hang a placard in the car that says that I'm disabled, when we get out of the car and we can walk without a cane, does that mean that we shouldn't have a disability tag? Does that non-disabled person know that, well, I can only really walk 50 feet before my legs give out?
Yeah, I mean, I have been in the situation where I have been using my handicap placard and people have approached me and asked me about it. And I just take it as they are trying to watch out for our community. They're trying to watch out for people with a disability. So I'm not offended whenever I get asked. I know that I have an invisible disability. And so that's just an opportunity to educate people and say, well, thank you for your concern and thank you for, approaching me. However, I do need it. And my doctor did approve it. So have a nice day.
Great.
Yeah, you have to go through a lot of things to get that thing. So if you think you think I'm faking it, great. Well, I'm not paying you to think. Good day.
That's true. So again, we are now out of questions. We're out of comments. We're out of this. We're out of that. We're also out of time because we are actually 3 minutes over where I had thought we were going to be for this evening, but that's cool because we did a great we did a great service here tonight, Damian and Sarah. And for everybody online, I do want to thank you. And if you did not understand what I was saying before about going to the website so you could get registered for tomorrow night, please go to www.ms as in sclerosis, V as in victory, N as in Nancy.org, and get registered, okay? And again, you'll be seeing Dr. Aaron Boster. You could ask away your questions. Pam's writing, thank you so much, guys. And Cindy's writing, all are amazing. And I'm going to say good night, world, because we had a great time tonight. Okay, great. Go for it. Awesome.
Peace, y'all. Peace, y'all. Thanks for coming.
Guys. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Both of you. Thanks a lot. We'll
Take
talk
it easy.
soon.
Thank you.
All right.
We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.